My name is So. I'm from Lena Wambao. Mr. Heng, you say that you enjoy hiking, traveling, reading, and classical music. To me, I don't see this very much to do with financial or money method. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, there is at least one thing that is very much linked to financial matters, because for the last 3 years or so, the bulk of my reading has been on financial matters, trying to understand the causes of the crisis, trying to understand the origins of it, and what we need to do to avoid getting into such a situation. Yeah. So I would say that a lot of my reading have been on very technical, serious subjects, but also on other areas. And in terms of my traveling, I find it meaningful to learn more about other countries, about their history, about the current conditions that they are in, and thinking about how what is happening there will affect us. I spent quite a bit of time traveling in China and in our region to understand the changes that are happening there. So even as I travel, it's always with a view of knowing more about those countries and knowing more about how that ultimately will affect us. And I always make it a point that to have my children, when they travel, to get them to understand how different Singapore is and how precious are the things that we have in Singapore that we need to preserve, we need to maintain. And it is my hope that a younger generation of Singaporeans get to appreciate what we have achieved over the years. There will be a lot of room for improvement, but it is only when we work together as a people that we can do so. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hisham from Britarian. My question goes out to Mr. Heng. You've already been earmarked as important member of the fourth generation leadership. So is this the biggest test in your career so far? And is there any added pressure going into the GE? Thank you.
Well, I very much appreciate the Chairman's very kind comments just now. I want to thank Chairman for your confidence. I think the important question for me is, why am I stepping forward, to stand in elections? And I step forward with very deep commitments and deep convictions about what we need to do and about why we need to do certain things. I think the context of Singapore, our history, our geopolitical situations, our economic base, are all very different from other countries. And the most important thing is that I need to, and my team members need to, convince our voters that we are the best team to serve them and to serve Singapore. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kenny from My People. This is a question for all three candidates. Given that inflation is now a very key concern for many residents and many voters, how will you as an MP try to address their concerns and try to explain the circumstances to them? Thanks.
Thank you, Kenny, for the question. You are right. Inflation is a problem that many of our residents, in the past few weeks especially, as we go about our walkabouts and spoken to residents, they are concerned about inflation. Many of them do understand that a lot of our price increases are brought on by external factors, but at the same time it is impacting them. And of course, in the past few days, a lot of our citizens have also been receiving their letters from MOF with regards to the growth and share package. And the reaction so far has been very positive. It has helped a lot of our local lower income families, lower income residents to balance out their price increases, their expenditure as well. So these are some of the things that I think as if I'm elected into Parliament, would be an issue that I would continue to look hard at and to urge the government to continue to grow and share with Singaporeans in the years ahead? Thank you.
And as a trader in commodities, I see it on a daily basis. The price of oil, grains, corn, metals going up every day. And this is a entirely global phenomenon. We have the rapidly industrializing countries of China, India, sucking up so much resources. I mean, what can a small island like Singapore do to fight against this tide? I'm not very sure. But I think the government has done its bit, and I think the MAS has done very well by, going ahead of the curve, by allowing the Sing dollar to strengthen in an environment where every other currency in the world is trying to depreciate. So I think on that aspect, the government has done well to fight imported inflation. And on another part, I think Mr. Taman mentioned in the debate aired on Channel News Asia probably last Saturday night that the bulk of GST being paid is being paid by the top 40% of the consumers. And all these GST benefits are then subsidized into a lower income group to help them. I think in the recent package, the lower income group has accrued a lot of benefits, more than what they'll pay in terms of GSTs. I think these are measures, both macro and micro, that the government is trying to do to help out the lower income group.
Well, I very much empathize with this concern about inflation. And in fact, when you look back in the last 2 years or so, the changes that are going on around us, the external shocks that we've been subject to, have been very unsettling. I remember in 2008, we were so concerned that we're going to have one of the worst recessions in our history and had to take many measures to prepare for that. And the deep concern was, how would unemployment be during that if we are going to have such a recession? And so one day you had this dark storm that was threatening us. And, a year and a half later, we get bright sunshine. The economy rebounded very quickly. And then global oil and food prices went up. And not just in Singapore, globally, but you see what happened in China, in the rest of the world. So that rapid pace of change, I think, is very unsettling for our people. And I think what we have to do is to deal with these problems both with our heart and with our head. I think in terms of what we have to do with our heart, I think we need to be able to, as Singaporeans, share in that. And earlier on, Teng Koon and Alex mentioned about the share and grow package. And so if you look at the package that has been provided, it more than offsets this inflation, and most families will be able to cope with it. Now, in terms of dealing with our head, the reason why we are able to have that grow and share package is because the policies that have been put in place allow us to rebound from the recessions very quickly and allow the government to have that surplus so that we can distribute to Singaporeans. And you see also Singaporeans who have had their jobs, being able to contribute to the others. Teng Koon mentioned about the Sing dollar. Again, that is a rational policy for us. And in fact, I looked at some of the numbers. The appreciation of the Singapore dollar has helped us to filter off some of the imported inflation. And the rate of global food price increase is significantly more than what we have in Singapore. Now, long term, in terms of dealing with this problem rationally, it is that we can only improve the standards of our living of our people if we can continue to create good jobs, better jobs, more productive jobs, so that real wages can grow. And we've got to make sure that we don't leave the low-income groups behind. And I think Minister Lim mentioned very movingly about what NTUC had done to try and raise the productivity and try to use schemes like workfare improvements schemes to help a broad spectrum of our society. And it is a global challenge that we have to deal with, and we have to deal with both with our heart and with our head. Thank you.